Good morning, one and all. Myself, Dr. Vijay Lakshmi, working as an associate professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. This semester, I will be handling network analysis and transmission line subject for second BTech first semester students. So today is an introduction class. So first today in this class, we will be discussing about the basic concepts, and before that, we will discuss about what is the basic requirement for the this course to learn in a better way, and at the end of this particular semester, what is the outcome that you are going to learn from this course. So first we will discuss about the course overview. So in a course overview, in this network analysis and transmission line subject, we are going to discuss about the basic concepts of an RLC circuits. Apart from that, we are going to discuss about the transmission lines in the last 2 units. Then, in order to learn this particular subject in a better way, what are the prerequisites that we are expecting from the students? So, the basic requirement in order to learn this subject in a better way is you need to have a basic concepts of RLC circuits like Ohm's law, Kirchhoff's law, then behavior of an RLC circuit under different transient conditions. These are the basic requirements that a student should know in order to understand this subject in a better way. Now, let us discuss the course objectives. So, coming to the first course objective here, the first course objective is to understand the basic concepts of an RLC circuits. So, basic concepts of an RLC circuits is nothing but you need to know like how RLC circuits will behave for DC sources as well as for AC sources. So these are the things that we will be learning in first unit. Coming to the second course objective is to know the steady state and transient analysis of an RLC circuit. So steady state analysis of an RLC circuit is nothing but we are going to learn the behavior of RLC circuit for different time conditions, that is at t is equal to 0, t is equal to 0 minus, and at t is equal to 0 plus. Now coming to the third objective of a course objective is to learn about the two-port network parameters. So this is entirely a new concept as two-port networks is. So already in basic electrical engineering subject, you might have learned about bipolar junction transistor, which is a semiconductor device. So as we know that bipolar junction transistor is a 3-terminal 2-junction device that indicates that your bipolar junction transistor has 2 ports. That is, emitter base junction will act as an input port and collector base junction will act as an output port. So any such network which has 2 ports, one acts as an input port and another one acts as an output port, can be used as a 2-port network. So the third objective of this course is to understand about the 2-port network parameters. Now coming to the fourth course objective, which is completely about the transmission lines. So what is basically a transmission line is? In order to understand the basic concept of a transmission line, let us understand what is communication first. So communication here is nothing but it is a way to transfer an information from one end to another end. So if you want to define a communication technically, that means it is the process of transfer of information from transmitter to receiver. So if we consider our case, so I will be acting as a transmitter and all the students will be acting as a receiver here. So in order to establish a connection between a transmitter and receiver, there are so many ways of medium that we use. For example, if I take in the previous years, we used to have landlines. So in order to establish a connection between a landline and to make a call, we used to make use of wired connection. So that is that acts as your transmission line through which you transfer the information from transmitter to receiver. So what are these transmission lines and how do they propagate? What is the reflection condition, transmitter condition? All these things we will be discussing in detail in transmission lines 1 and transmission lines 2. So this is about the course objective of network analysis and transmission lines. Now coming to course outcome. So what is course outcome? Basically course outcome is nothing but at the end of this particular subject, a student is going to understand the basic concepts of RLC circuit. Apart from that, what are the course outcomes that you are going to learn? So the first course outcome is all the students will gain the knowledge on RLC circuits, because any network, if you consider, it is always a combination of three basic elements, that is resistor, inductor and capacitor. Apart from that, a network consists of a voltage source, current source and then switch. But your resistor, inductor and capacitor is the basic components using which any network can be built. So the first course outcome here is to gain the knowledge on the basic RLC circuits. So if you understand this in terms of Bloom's taxonomy level, that means the first outcome of this course is the student is going to understand about the level 1, that is knowledge. So student is able to gain the knowledge on RLC circuit. Now coming to the second course outcome, third course outcome and fourth course outcome. All these course outcomes are linked with Bloom's taxonomy level of 4, that is analyze. That means in second unit, third unit and fourth unit and fifth unit, a student will be in a position to analyze the behavior of the network. Coming to the second course outcome, if you understand, here the student will be in a position to analyze the steady state and transient analysis of an RLC circuit. So it is an analysis. That means at the end of the unit, a student will be in a position to design their own RLC network. Then coming to third course outcome, the student will be knowing the characteristics of a two-port network, and they are going to analyze this two-port network using various parameters which are available. And then coming to the fourth course outcome, here we are going to analyze the transmission line parameters and their configuration. So that means overall, if you consider the course outcome, at the end of this course, the student will be gaining a knowledge and they are in a position to analyze an RLC circuit as well as a two-port network and also a transmission line. Now coming to the introduction to syllabus. So as per curriculum, the course is divided into 5 units. So let us discuss what are the different units that are available. So first unit is about the network topology. So network topology basically deals with basic mesh and node analysis concept. Apart from that, in first unit, we will be learning about the magnetic circuits. Magnetic circuits are basically inductively coupled as well as capacitively coupled. So how they behave under different conditions, that we are going to learn in first unit, which is network topology. Coming to second unit. Second unit is about the transient and steady state analysis. So this unit is completely dealt with RLC circuit under different time conditions at t is equal to 0 minus, t is equal to 0 and t is equal to 0 plus, how your RLC circuit will behave. Now coming to third unit. Third unit is about two-port network parameters. As we already discussed, two-port network parameters are nothing but any network which has two ports, with one acting as an input port and another one acting as an output port, can be analyzed using these two-port network parameters. There are different types of network parameters are available. So we are going to discuss about Z parameters, Y parameters, ABCD parameters, H parameters and G parameters. So depending upon the type of the network, we are going to use a particular type of a network parameter to analyze a particular network. Now coming to fourth and fifth unit, the fourth and fifth unit deals with transmission lines. So transmission lines, as already we have discussed just now, transmission lines 1 and transmission line 2 is nothing but, here we are going to in detail discuss about the various types of transmission lines, what are their effects and how do we design the transmission lines. Now coming to the textbook that you need to follow above here. The textbook that we consider for network analysis and transmission lines is one is Van Valkenburg, is the one which we can use for network analysis, and the second textbook that we refer is network analysis by Ryder. So these are the two textbooks that we normally use in order to understand this particular subject in a better way. Now, before we start with the basic concepts of network analysis, let us first understand that what is the importance of studying this subject. So as we know that every student is an aspirant of going for higher studies, or they want to get a job in PSUs, or they want to get a job into a government sector. So in order to achieve all these things in your life, after your 4 years of engineering, you need to go through certain competitive examinations. So these competitive examinations are, if you want to go for higher studies, that is MTech, then you will be writing a GATE. Apart from that, if you want to get into a PSUs, then you need to write Indian Engineering Service exam. Then apart from that, if you want to enter into any research organization, then you have to go for UGC CSIR NET exam. So in order to take all these competitive exams, normally you have to write some competitive exams. So for writing these competitive exams, this particular subject will be a base, because depending upon the concepts which you are going to learn in this subject, so you will be having a one particular module which covers in this competitive examination. For example, if you see on the screen, for UGC NET, if you want to write, these are the concepts that you need to learn. So you have network theorems, mesh analysis, node analysis. Coming to GATE syllabus, if you consider, we will be having Kirchhoff's laws, ideal voltage sources, current sources, transient and steady state analysis of RLC circuits. That means overall, if you consider for any competitive exam, this particular subject plays a very important role. So let us understand this particular subject in a conceptual wise, instead of learning it in a just like I have to understand a particular problem and then solve. You have to understand the basic concepts of solving all the different types of networks. Now, coming to the basic concepts. So as we know that before we start with the first unit, that is network topology, let us just remind ourselves the basic concepts which are required for a student to understand the concepts of network analysis and transmission line in a better way. So let us start with the independent sources. So what are basically sources? Sources are nothing but the one which always gives some energy to the network. So there are two types of independent sources we have. One is ideal voltage source and another one is ideal current source. So what is an ideal voltage source? So if you consider an ideal voltage source, it is basically a two-terminal element which is connected between 2 points, and it is always being represented with a circle. Since it is a voltage source, it has to be shown with a direction. So we represent the voltage source with a positive and negative sign. So voltage source is nothing but irrespective of the current which is flowing through the terminals, the voltage across the circuit will remain constant. That you can see in the graph also. Okay, so this is about the voltage source. Now coming to ideal current source. So an ideal current source is a two-terminal element which maintains same current in the circuit irrespective of the voltage across its terminals. So voltage source and current source, these are the two different types of sources which always give some energy to the network. So current source is again also represented with a circle because it is independent, and the direction of the current will be shown with an arrow mark pointing either towards up or it is pointing towards downwards. So that is the direction of the current source. So if you see in the graph here, the current will always remain So this is about the voltage and current source. Now coming to dependent, which is also referred as a controlled source. So dependent or controlled sources are nothing but the sources which depend on some parameter which is always there in a given network. So that can be anything. It can depend on a voltage or it can depend on a current. Now how do you differentiate a dependent sources from an independent sources? As such, dependent sources are also two types, voltage source and then current source. But the differentiation of dependent sources from independent sources is with a symbol. So dependent sources are now represented in a shape of a diamond. So if you see in the figure, so two dependent sources are being shown. One represents a voltage source and another represents a current source. But dependent sources are basically classified into four types. So depending upon what type of source it is and on what it depends. So there are four types of dependent sources we have. The first one is voltage controlled voltage source. That means it is basically a voltage source but it depends on voltage. Second one, voltage controlled current source. That means it is basically a current source but its value depends on voltage. Then the third one is current controlled voltage source. So it is basically a voltage source but it depends on the current. Then the last one is current controlled current source. That means it is basically a current source but it depends on the current. So this is about the basic concepts, the first topic about the sources. So there are two types of sources we have. One is independent source and another one is dependent source. So dependent sources we represent with a circle and independent sources we denote with a diamond shape. So again, dependent sources are four types, that is voltage controlled voltage source, current controlled voltage source, voltage controlled current source and current controlled current source. So dependent sources, remember that we have to be very careful when analyzing the circuit with dependent sources.